Good evening, everyone. It's our privilege that Ninong, Ering sir had taken this initiative few days back. He had a deliberation with the researchers. We have the team here, and we thought about this bill and discussed with sir. And he was so coming forward for this. This was much needed, as what we think. At least we might have difference of opinion on this. That's why we are here in a democracy, and we are discussing it and doing a deliberation on it. But the happiness is there that we are talking about it. This was a subject which was so much of taboo for people to talk. But today, at least we are sitting here, discussing itself calls for celebrations. At least we should applaud to that. Thank you, Ninong sir, Ering sir, because he is the man behind this, and we can call him the Member of Parliament, also the bad man of Parliament, to begin with. So let's hear from him and initiate.
Susmita and Jela sir. Of course, the other members of Parliament will be coming because everyone must be occupied with their own programs. But frankly speaking, if you speak of the bad man, then we'll say there's a bad woman who has already done a lot of work. That is Susmita. We should give her a big hand. She's taken so many signatures that sanitary should be free, distributed freely, and there, the GST should not be there. Even we signed on that. But of course, that was also one inspiration for all of us. My inspiration is a different story. Of course, it is regarding my own family members, and it was kind of a taboo. So I said, let me start. And when I started, everybody thought that Miss Ninong, I got letters and replies. I said, well, I'm not a Miss, I'm a Mister. So the people are again more shocked. But anyway, I want to extend a very warm and hearty welcome to the honourable members of Parliaments, stalwarts in different fields, and all the stakeholders. Thank you for taking time out of your beautiful schedules to be here. I want to thank my office team and experts from the NGO, Summit Innovations and Research Foundation for conceiving the idea and working on this bill. I would thank Prague and Das Foundation for their continued technical support to the Legislators Group for Women. There have been frequent demands across India to further amend the labour laws in order to entitle better working facilities to female employees. The menstruation leave movement has gained momentum across the nation, and there has been intense demand to entitle women with paid leave during menstruation. Besides, there has been demands to provide intermediate breaks during menstruation in the working days and facilities for the rest of the workplace in India. The menstrual benefit movement has gained fast momentum in India. A lot of women, media and civil society organizations have begun addressing the difficulties associated with menstruation and demanding the paid menstruation leave. Seeing the intense demands and observation of the problem of menstruation in the workplace, I asked a question in the Lok Sabha from the Ministry of Women and Child Development on provisions of the menstruation leave at the workplace. To no surprise, the ministry replied that there is no such existing provision and there is no such proposal as such to grant menstrual leave or introduction of any legislation in this regard, but they said that we welcome the gesture. On discussing the issue with my office team, they suggest me to call in consultation for stakeholders. Based on the consultations and intense research, we drafted the Menstruation Benefit Bill 2017 and filed it in Parliament. As soon as I filed the bill in media, it gained huge public attention. The amount of public support and media attention the bill has gained is tremendous. It has proved to be one of the most famous private members' bills in last session of Parliament. In a scenario where a bill gets huge attention and triggers a nationwide debate, there is a large possibility the bill may be taken up by the government, and that is our actual mudda. With minor modifications of the government. With the help of frequent parliamentary interventions and large public support, there is a large possibility of the bill being followed by the government, legislation on ministerial leave and benefits. And for that, all the stakeholders and all the members of parliaments will, I think, bring the benefit to at least the working women who are serving either in the corporates and private companies or in the government servants. Thank you very much.
We should actually acknowledge that you are the one who actually initiated. Everybody talks about it, but forgets it. but somebody who initiates it should be called a hero, and thank you for being there for that. Now I would like to ask Mr. R.K. Jina to speak few words.
You have been extremely kind to invite us, and thanks all of who have supported you in this great initiative, I should say. I had no knowledge of what the bill is all about, what it's talking to, till I was handed over a letter by Ninong Ering just day before yesterday in the parliament that you have to come. He's a good friend, very learned parliamentarian, so I thought I need to be there with him. Before coming, I was just trying to look at a couple of things, but before that, let me tell you what the private member bill is about. I'm sure many of you must be aware of it. If you look at private member bill, it's a bill which can be introduced in the parliament by any member who is not a minister. That is a private member bill. And if you look at post-independence, 2 bills have been passed in the parliament which are private member bill. So not necessarily we are looking at passing up this bill in the parliament, but what's more important, which Ering has just hinted in his opening remark, is that it will definitely cause a definite amount of pressure in the way you have all started working on it in the Indian Parliament and more particularly in the government. So that is the essence of this entire effort. Having said that, we live in a society where every second day we talk of women empowerment, gender equality, etc., etc., etc. While we talk on this, the result on the other side are not very encouraging. We are all parliamentarians sitting here. If you look at the numbers, not even 12% parliament members are women. So that's a fact of life. When we talk of gender equality, even 12% do not come to parliament, though we have been talking 33% reservation, and if you go to state assembly, it is rather worse, it's just 9%. So in this kind of environment, the next big question that comes up is that what justice are we doing to rest 50% of the population? Are we doing enough? If you talk of the labor force globally, it's 40%. So what is the scenario in India? In India, in last 5 years, if you look at the numbers, almost 24 million plus male members have joined the workforce, whereas close to 22 million women members have left the workforce. That's deadly. And if you just break down this 22 million who left the workforce, many of them are in the age group of 18 to 24. And rather worst part of it is that most of them come from rural India. So this being the scenario, the next important question that emerges is that what justice are we doing it? Yes, on the face of it, to talk of it, it creates some kind of embarrassment to many of us. We are psychologically, mentally not prepared to discuss on this. But somebody has to take the initiative. I have seen the slide, Kerala started 40 years prior to independence. Bihar started in 1992. So does it not call for a good cause that we need to talk or we not delay? So these are the issues that are prima facie on the platter that we need to discuss. And to look at, I'm not an expert, I will not be able to say, I'd rather request Sanjay Jeshwalji, who is a doctor by profession also, he will throw more light, but I have seen some numbers. On an average, a woman passes through about 456 menstrual cycles during her lifetime, spanning over a period of 38 years. And that translates, the period of pain translates to over 6+ years during her lifetime. So 6+ years of pain during the life of a woman is a big number. If we have not addressed this, possibly we have made some mistake somewhere. It is high time that we need to activate. So Smitaji has flagged up on a couple of issues, the psychological issues, the issues of economy, the issues of the employers, okay, we have to leave close to 52 weeks of paid leave, etc., etc. But then the whole ecosystem has to get up to address these issues. I come from Odisha, which is more or less an orthodox state. But what Odisha has done is that we are developing an ecosystem by which employers will be encouraged to employ female members. We will compensate certain percentage of their EPA, PSI, etc., etc. So it is to be seen holistically so that this problem can be addressed. I think to start with, it's a great initiative. We need to support for this cause, and it will not be too far before we end our objective. I'm quite optimistic about it. Thank you once again.
Mr. Jaiswal, we need you because you are from medical background and your words will really value a lot here.
But I think, maybe my personal opinion, I'm really sorry if you people don't agree with it. See, menstruation is a physiological thing. We should treat it physiologically rather than making it a pathological or an issue. I think this bill will need some changes, especially let it be it should be limited to the doctor's advice. There are two issues. One is about schoolgirls and the second is ladies. As a doctor, what my knowledge goes up to it, I'm not a gynecologist, I'm a physician. But 80% of girls suffer with this first premenstrual pain or menstrual pain, and hardly 20% ladies suffer with the menstrual issues. So I think let it treat it physiologically, like we are having headache or backache. The bill should include that if the woman or a girl is having premenstrual or menstrual pain, they should be granted a sick leave rather than making it essential to the all organization. I think that will be a better idea rather than just going and making it like uniformly. We have seen girls during menstruation, they play, they participate in each and every issue. It's simple. We should always think that it's physiological. If we treat it in our society, it's something like pathology, then God forbid what will happen to the villages. So let's treat it as physiological, like any other disease, but they should be granted leave on the basis of doctor's recommendation. That will be a better idea. And I agree with Supriya Suleji, we should give more stress to providing sanitary pads in workplaces, especially in schools, because we have seen the dropouts are very high. Just by making toilets in the high school, I am seeing sea changes in the rural schools. Now I am seeing more than 60 to 70% girls in the government school, but most likely it is because the boys goes to the private school. But still they are going, I am seeing the girls in the high school a lot more than boys. So instead of thinking about it pathologically, we should think about it physiological. Those who require it, they should be given leave. Otherwise, don't make it a subject like everyone has to discuss in every workplace. I think it will be a gender bias. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to request Dr. Udit Raj, and I personally acknowledge that I have never seen somebody who's more vocal about women's rights, and I also seek a lot of guidance from him. I really love his views, and if you hear him, you'll like it more. So rather than speaking a lot about him, let him speak himself.
And we have to weigh pros and cons. Let me tell you one thing. Nobody is taking up the larger issue. 15 years, 5 years back, 20 years back, you notice wherever you go, there used to be female receptionists. They were preferred. In private sector employment, women were preferred, and in government also, they were given important posts, and seniors used to like to have them in their staff. But now it's a large scale avoidance. No longer we find as a receptionist. Why I am saying that it is harming a lot what it is benefiting. And I tell you, in this country, education is linked to employment. If there is no employment, then there will be much and much disincentive in getting the education. So what happened is that I think further, like already private sector is avoiding that women go become pregnant and their work suffer, so they avoid. So on this incident they are avoiding, and we have to weigh the pros and cons that if we make it a blanket 2 days two holidays, they may avoid further employing them. So look at the other aspect. That is the larger, and that will harm more. So we have to study it more. We have to see that how to do it. After all, nothing is more important than economic independence. It's economic independence only, or it's the economic dependence of women that alone has put them down or subject to exploitation, alienation, discrimination. So we have to be very cautious about it. Idea is good, and we must float it, we must discuss about it. But that has to be initially without thinking much. I thought that I will say blanket that let it be happen that 2 days leave on this occasion, on menstruation occasion. But then after that I thought, and I have been observing it, that not many industries are there in my constituency. About 70% industries are in my parliamentary constituency, 70% industries of Delhi. So many industries are in touch with me. They are no longer interested in employing the female. And they say, one former minister even said that, of course, I am afraid of meeting a woman alone. So that has to be looked into. And this is what I have to say. And let me tell you one thing. Second, I think is that it's a social cultural issue more than political. If you look at the solution only from the parliament or legislation, I think that is not correct approach, because maximum exploitation, discrimination is in the home only. And the girl child is born, she is not given preference. And while treating son and girl, so preference is always given to son, and she is not given the preference, and she is not allowed to go for sports or for work, for outing, etc. in the morning, evening, every time there is a check on her. Some governance has to be there, and of course giving, as far as giving the food or clothes or other treatments, there is a different treatments. So this is social cultural issue. There are two villages near to Jodhpur wherein marriage party came in that village after 100 years. What happened that girl child were either killed in embryo or after birth. Such is the situation. And what the state can do, what a police can do, what politician can do. So you all have to change yourself. On one hand, what he says that I don't want to go there, but on one hand you think that you observe all cultural norms which shackle your rights, which fetter your rights. For instance, Tej, Karwa Chauth. What is the meaning of Karwa Chauth? Is that wife is fasting for the longevity of life of husband. That itself says that she is inferior and husband is Devata, Bhagwan. What message it sends? In subconscious or psychologically or even visibly, they are less than men. I have seen कि 40 वर्ष की बहन है, 2 वर्ष के भाई से अपना रक्षा बनवा रही है। ये 2 वर्ष का भाई क्या रक्षा कर लेगा? That means the men are to protect them. They are feeble, they are weaker, They cannot protect them. They need, in any case, the protection of men. So, all said and done, let me tell you, what has to be done is that big reform in the society. Social, cultural reform in the society. Unfortunately, my society has not undergone much of revolution, not reform. What to talk about the revolution? I don't think that a revolution will ever happen in this country, because this country is a fatalist country. And fatalist country can't have. Europe and other countries have seen number of reforms and revolution. France, you see, you start from Greek, then Roman. Even I at that time in Greek and Roman used to agitate and used to be the part of the army when the army used to move around. So there is historical resonance. So that has to be hit. Of course, this is the issue, but the larger issue is with the society, with civil society. So thank you so much. That it's a good initiative, and subject itself is very interesting. I'll have to go again. I'll have to go into the depth of the subjects. It's new to me.
No, we'll convince you.
Major demands of the movement. Coming from the corporate background.
Channel, I would like to request Bindeshwar Pathak ji, because he has to go. Then we'll come back again. Bindeshwar Pathak ji has done so much on sanitation. He doesn't need any recognition. He is the man, actually, the sanitation man.
Giving this opportunity. I am follower of Gandhi. First, I appreciate the bill that is going to present in the Parliament and should be passed, I hope. This is good for women, girls in the country. We believe in action. Gandhi says, 1 ounce of action is more important than tons of knowledge. And John F. Kennedy said, not ask what the country has done for you, ask what we have done for the country. So, we have been working in the field of sanitation and entitlement from last 50 years. But from sanitary napkin, we have been working last 10 years. And we have manufacturing machine for the sanitary napkin. We have vending machine. And also we have slicer. And then also we have the incinerator. So it is fully equipped in my school. And also we have provided in the schools of Sikkim, Nagaland, Bihar, Delhi, Kerala, UP, Maharashtra, Orissa, Nainital, and so on and so forth. So we have provided more than 400 schools in the country, and we are on. So that is most important. We have sanitary napkins, vending machine, incinerator for destroying, so all we have provided. Also we manufacture also in some places. So what is required now? The bill should be passed, we should continue, we should, the awareness campaign should go on. But side by side, we also have provisions of this. Only then it can help. So I think today we have given you the opportunity to come here to participate. So I just want to conclude that all the media, all of the here, all these persons can take on further. So what we believe in action, we have done in the field of toilets also, sanitation also, like this. So that way I would assist that there should be side by side. Passing the bill is one, but there should be a campaign and provision by the government to have sanitary napkin as many as possible for keeping it and destroying also. So this is my suggestion to the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pathak. And who doesn't know?
Ninong Ering का जिन्होंने ये सोचा और जैसे आपने कहा कि उनके जहाँ से ये बात आ रही है उसका तो आपको अभिनंदन करना ही पड़ेगा। ऐसा कौन सा बिल है, कौन सा कानून है, कम से कम अपने देश में, दुनिया की बात में नहीं करता, जिसका दुरुपयोग नहीं हुआ है या नहीं हो रहा है? ऐसा कौन सा बिल है जिसके सारे प्रावधान लागू किए जा रहे हैं ईमानदारी से? और ऐसा कौन सा बिल है जिसके दो पक्ष नहीं है? तो हम हर चीज को या इस जबरदस्त विचार को भी अगर हम इसी पर करेंगे तो ऐसे बहुत सारे हमारे सामाजिक सुरक्षा के और सामाजिक क्षेत्र के कानून बने हैं जिनका दुरुपयोग हुआ है और जिनका पूरा फायदा उन वर्गों को नहीं मिला जिनके लिए वो बनाए गए थे, फिर भी वो बने ना। सो लेजिस्लेचर इज ऑल्सो अ प्रोग्रेसिव मूवमेंट ऑफ अ थॉट, ऑफ एन आइडिया एंड ऑफ सम वैल्यूज। तो एक बिल भी जब लाया जाता है तो उसके पीछे वो सिर्फ एक उसको बहुत ज्यादा व्यावहारिक उस पर ले आएंगे तो फिर बहुत सारी चीजें जो हुई हैं वो नहीं होती। कम से कम हमारी परंपरा ये है, और हमारे बहुत सारे अब उदित तो चले गए, अब क्या कहूँ, भारत की परंपरा, संजय जी भी हैं, सबको हमको मालूम होगा कि हमारे माओ और दादियों के समय में उन दिनों घर में स्त्रियों को आराम करने की छूट दिया जाता, उनको काम नहीं दिया जाता था। ये होता था कि नहीं होता था? हाँ या ना? होता था ना? तो ये तो हमारी आदत में शामिल रहा है इस समाज की। उसको हमने अभी समाज ने कभी बिल नहीं बनाया क्योंकि हम उस समाज की उस समय की बात कर रहे हैं। तो मैं 2 बेटियों का पिता हूँ और एक पत्नी का पति हूँ, तो मैं ये तो एक स्त्री का अनुभव तो मुझे नहीं है, लेकिन अपनी बेटियों और पत्नी का अनुभव है, उसके आधार पर मैं कह सकता हूँ कि वो दिन सचमुच कठिन होते हैं। एफिशिएंसी घटती है कि नहीं, इस पर मैं समझता हूँ आंकड़े, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि अगर इन तमाम, अभी बहुत रिसर्च की जरूरत है, हमें बहुत सारे आंकड़े जुटाने की जरूरत है, कुछ और तर्क भी जुटाने होंगे, लेकिन एक संकेत के तौर पे ही सही, एक प्रतीक के तौर पे ही सही और एक संदेश के तौर पर ये बिल आना चाहिए, इस पर बहस होनी चाहिए और इसको पारित होनी चाहिए। ये ठीक है कि वर्कफोर्स में महिलाओं का पार्टिसिपेशन कम हो रहा है, उसके कारण कुछ और हैं, वो ढूंढने पड़ेंगे। अभी जो वो आंकड़े आए नहीं हैं कि वो क्यों कम हो रहे हैं, हाँ उनको जानने की जरूरत है। लेकिन इसी को अगर हम मान लें तो आज बहुत सी परंपराओं को, आज मेंस्ट्रुएशन की हम बात करने लगे हैं, स्कूलों में हम, पाठक जी ने जो किया है और बाकी सब होने लगी है, इससे भी कुछ लोगों को परेशानी होती है। आज भी आपको ऐसे बुजुर्ग मिल जाएंगे जो कहते हैं कि क्या इस तरह की बातें मत करो, लोगों को दिक्कत होती है। उसके बावजूद हमने किया ना, तो जो हम प्रोग्रेसिव लेजिस्लेशन क्या होता है, यही होता है प्रोग्रेसिव लेजिस्लेशन। तो मैं तो पूरी तरह 100% इसके समर्थन में हूं। और अगर CCI से आई हुई हमारी मित्र अगर इसके समर्थन में इतना हो सकती है, तो मैं समझता हूं कि ये सब जगह नहीं हो सकेगा, ये कंस्ट्रक्शन वर्कर्स को फायदा नहीं मिलेगा, बिल्कुल पक्का मालूम है, लेकिन कुछ को तो मिलेगा। और अब एक समय ऐसा आ रहा है कि तमाम क्षेत्रों में स्त्रियों के बगैर काम नहीं चलने वाला है। अब इस पे किसी को बहस की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती समझाने की कि भाई स्त्रियों को लाते हैं आप तो कई तरह के फायदे भी मिलते हैं संगठनों को, कंपनियों को, समाजों को। तो थोड़ा मैं समझता हूँ कि एक ज़्यादा बड़ी एक दृष्टि हम अपने सामने रखें और इसको एक संकेत और एक संदेश के रूप में देखें, और अभी उसके इम्प्लीमेंटेशन पे उतना उसको बाधा ना बना दें। तो मुझे लगता है कि हम इसको ठीक परिप्रेक्ष्य में और संदर्भ में देख पाएंगे। और अब पुरुषों में भी इतनी संवेदनशीलता हमको दिखने लगी है कि वो इन चीज़ों पर इनको सुन रहे हैं, मान रहे हैं। अब ये एक बदलाव आ रहा है सब जगह, सोच में भी बदलाव आ रहा है, गाँव तक में आने लगा है। तो ये भी बदलाव आएगा, मुझे इसमें विश्वास है। इसलिए मैं एक बार फिर से आपको बधाई देने के साथ साथ पूरी तरह इसका समर्थन करता हूं।